All right. Trying to get just set up, man. It's kind of a rush doing this sometimes, you know that? Okay, well, that was quite the experience. Haven't had that happen before. Well, actually, hi, Deb, or thank you again. Canadian Cat Lady, thank you, Aunt Clara, Ron John, Elbow, Susie. I don't think Susie was there for the last ordeal. I did get I got spanked by YouTube. I do believe it was. It wasn't it wasn't StreamYard or anything. Um, yeah, and I'm glad it's on a Once Upon a Crime channel and not my personal channel because I spanked on there once before. So, and you get 3 strikes and you're out. You lose everything. So, I do not want that to happen again. Anyway, I don't know what to talk about here. I think maybe have an open panel. Anybody want to jump up? I'm going to leave a link. Maybe we can discuss some. Maybe we'll watch. Maybe we'll watch my one of my favorites there, Drip Job. He had a new one out today. Yes, yes, Kathleen. My that's just verbiage. They got me for what do you call it? Someone help me out here. Um, I used a video I probably shouldn't have used. Yep, Crime Circus. I think that's where we're gonna go, huh? You guys like? I love Drip Drop, and I know people just got down on him terribly for one deal. Yeah, I think it was something like that, Susie. Yeah, um, can't remember the word that was used, but it shut down the video and everything. So yeah, yeah, War Eagle. Yeah, yeah, she was awesome. Let me put the link in here. Oh, nah, dang it! I can't do it that way. Okay, I'll have to do it this way. There we go. Yeah, I do. I really like him a lot, buddy. And he didn't deserve what he got. You know, everybody knows it's speculation and stuff. You know, I don't know why. And when I first started doing this, it was like I was told, "Oh, don't do this, don't do that, and don't say this guy's name." And I was told not to say Jack DeCour's name or to accuse him in any way because the family might get mad at me or something. And it's like, well, he's part of the case. And, you know, as you've noticed, it hasn't really stopped me too much. Um, yeah, Drip's really cool. Okay, I'm going to find his video. If I can, if I can. Let's see. There we go. And War Eagle, you can come on up. Oh, you're in a live auction. What do you want? I think so. I haven't talked to him or um, since then. Um, but we're both passionate people, and I apologize on that first video earlier for everything that happened that night, and I apologize again to all of you, and I apologize to Roy. I did talk to him. Um, it was just, a couple of passionate people. Yeah, and baby Drip, right? um, some others, some other, what do you call, other people, channels, other creators told me not to. I think so, or I know, I hope so. I'm pretty sure. Uh, Sarge is pretty rugged like me, and we're on the opposite sides of certain things. Um, but we've always respected each other, and I kind of thought I was going to probably go there, um, just because of the way it was going. Um, and it went there pretty quick. But yeah, yeah, the apologies were necessary, I think. There's other channels with a lot of drama, and I don't even want to go there really. So um, I said my apologies, and I'll uh, Sarge and I'll talk again. I'm sure. I'm sure we'll be fine. He's a big boy. I'm a big boy. I'm not gonna go on. But War, do you want to come on up? Right, exactly. Oh, I'm finding Crime Circus here. Okay, there we are. Yeah, I love his style. Okay. Exactly, War. That's why, my dad always taught me, you know, um, don't get into religion or politics, those two things. If you want to keep friends, you just don't go there. And, I've done it many times over the years, and I've learned that he was absolutely correct. So I don't like going there. Oh, you're an auction? What are you going to buy? Exactly, Ron. Exactly. Right, Deb. Okay, I got to get this like and subscribe thing up. Okay. And get in there, folks. I just got yeah, there's the man. I'm glad he's back on the case. He took a long break after that. I'm just glad he's back on the case. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, I like guns. I got I got guns. The show that my band just did was a really cool gig. It was a private party put on out in the middle of nowhere on this big farm. I mean, this guy's got I don't know how many acres. It's huge, and he's got barns all over, and he's got buildings all over. One building's a bar, and it's pretty big. And but we played outside. He's got a stage that he built. So 13th year he's done it, and what they do is they have EMTs come in, and they had about 350 people there that and kids. And what they do is they teach kids things, and like the EMTs are there to teach them how to do CPR. They went through gun training. The sheriffs came out and they went through gun training. The guy's got like 1,300 guns or something in these great big safes. Anything from ARs. I mean, every kind of gun you can think of, and but they train the kids on handguns and safety and stuff like that. It's just a really uh, cool thing. Oh, vintage jewelry dealer. Oh, that's cool. All right, should we take a look at as everybody watch this, or should we go through this, or should we find something that you haven't watched, or what do you want to do? I'm leaving it up to you. If anybody wants to jump up, I'm going to keep leaving these links, and I'll do it again. Elbow. Well, because I think it's a good thing, cat lady, because they should know the safety of guns. And like I said, I mean, the sheriffs were there teaching them, and I think that's a good thing. To teach the safety of it, and they let them target practice with handguns and stuff. Um, it was just a really cool gig, really nice people. It wasn't just that they've done it all summer long. See, that's the thing. Taking them fishing, taking doing things with these kids, and then at the end of the year, they put on a big party for all the workers. It's a community thing, and this whole town is involved, and the county is involved, and they they put on this big party, and we for all the workers. The kids go go home, whatever, and the parties for the workers, and that's where we played. And they liked us so much that they paid us extra to play another hour. So that was kind of cool. All right, drip drop it is. I'm gonna see. Do I gotta share it? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Here we go.
That it was his DNA.
Well,
If it was his car on the
no,
In this video, we're going to discuss Baby Drip, Brian Koberger, Moscow, Idaho, alibis, driving around at night, court, and so much more. You don't want to miss a single second of this episode, and we need to know, does Ann Taylor and Brian Koberger make a cute couple? Stay tuned. Let's see what I have to say for myself this time.
this time. I love that.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Crime Circus. My name is Drip Drop, and I'll be your host most of the time. Baby Drip's here with me, and sometimes he'll be the host as well. Anyways, I'm certain you've come to expect booms from these videos. You may or may not get some booms in this video. Stay tuned to find out. However, let's jump right in and start with the alibi. Brian Koberger's attorney.
Yeah, he was MIA for a little while. After that one video he made, and he got slammed by a whole bunch of people, and I thought it was awful what they did to him. But yeah, he took a break from this case. Yes, but he's back.
He says he was driving around late at night like he usually does. Is that a legitimate alibi? Even a lot of Brian Koberger supporters dropped their jaws and said, "Oh, no. That can't be his alibi. We thought for certain he was at home in his apartment, and he must have been at home in his apartment sleeping." No, that's actually Jack DeCour's alibi. Allegedly. Allegedly, Jack was sleeping. Brian was out driving late at night. And driving around late at night is not a crime. I know most of you out there probably haven't done it. But me, I've done it a lot of times. And I don't even listen to music when I'm out there doing it. I drive in complete silence with my own thoughts. Gives me time to think. I drive through neighborhoods. I drive on highways. I even drive down unknown dirt roads where I don't know where I'm going. Not a crime. Suspicious, okay. Weird, okay. Call me suspicious and weird. That doesn't make me a quadruple, passing away evil person. The alibi is so bad that you know he's telling the truth. Because if he's some genius high IQ mastermind, surely he would have had a better alibi than I was driving around. Guess what? There were probably a lot of white Hyundai Elantras driving around in the early AM hours between November 12th and November 13th in 2022. The chief of police said there was 22,000 white Hyundai Elantras in the area.
So far, we have a list of approximately 22,000 registered white Hyundai Elantras that fit into our criteria that we're sorting through. That's an awful lot of information, but
boom, that's a lot of white Hyundai Elantras. So, the state forced his attorney's hand to even present an alibi. However, it's really messed up because they weren't even ready to present an alibi. Because the state has been stonewalling and gaslighting the defense. Which leads us to the speedy trial not happening. There's not evidence of Bryan Kohberger and his defense.
Absolutely.
A speedy trial is always preferred. Bryan Kohberger certainly knew that the state was not prepared with a proper prosecution, because this is quite likely a false prosecution. You can see Bryan Kohberger right here. Look at him walking in the courtroom. I'm going to play this in slow motion. He has a moment with the deputy that brings him in. Bryan has what looks like he just wiped a little smirk off his face, and you can see the deputy clearly has a smirk. They make eye contact. They have a little repertoire. They have a connection. This deputy would certainly not be being buddy-buddy with Bryan Kohberger in Moscow, Idaho, if Bryan had actually done what they're saying he did. Boom. Also, these appear to be different officers than what was shown in my last video. The tall man, link down below if you haven't seen it. Bryan Kohberger is a really tall man. Why that matters? Dylan Mortensen said that the perpetrator was over 5'10" tall.
Oh my God.
5'10" tall is a huge difference compared to 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". You know somebody that's 6'3" when you see them. So you don't say over 5'10". You say well over 6 foot. Are these officers tiny humans as well? I don't think so. They look like large men, which makes Bryan Kohberger a giant. True story. Anyways, we gotta backtrack. Let's talk about driving through neighborhoods late at night. I mean, we don't even know if he was in a neighborhood or not. We don't know where he was. He was driving. He could have been going down a back road without a camera. This is what it may have looked like. Just driving around. Some of you out there have analyzed the Linda Lane footage. You can hear a lot of traffic in the background. You can hear cars coming and going. And on the Banfield body camera footage, you can also see cars coming and going. There's some real contradictions in the arrest affidavit regarding the activity in that neighborhood. One wise man out there even referred to it as a circus. That so much activity was going on in that neighborhood, it was like a three-ring circus. A lot of cars were coming and going. The Linda Lane footage has been heavily analyzed, and some people have even proven that it's not a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra circling the Queen Road apartment building. This isn't me saying this, ladies and gentlemen. This is just information I've read on the internet. And with me reading it on the internet, everything does have to be taken with a grain of salt. However, we all have common sense. And common sense is important because it means you don't just believe what you read or believe what you hear or believe what you heard from your favorite YouTuber. You shouldn't trust anything you see on this show either. In fact, nothing can be trusted. Although I will always keep it authentic and real with you here at Crime Circus because I appreciate you. If you're watching this, you may be a friend or you may even be a foe. But I'd honestly just prefer you to be family because here at Circus Cult, it's all love. And all we want is proper justice for the victims one way or the other. And we don't want to see anyone else become victims in this case. Some people even think that it's okay to drive by the defendant's parents' house. Sneak, creep, and peek. That's called stalking. And being a peeping Tom is an actual crime. And it's quite possible Bryan Kohberger was being a peeping Tom the early morning hours of November 13th. I think at this point, it's very safe to say he was not the DoorDash driver. However, that's not even official one way or the other. All we can do is study of Bryan Kohberger being the DoorDasher, aka the door slasher. But maybe he was just peeping in the window and he saw all that happen and he was terrified. So he just kept driving around, drove for hours. In fact, he was probably up for days. And as of right now, there's no evidence that Bryan Kohberger ever owned a K-bar knife, let alone a sheath to a K-bar knife. A leather sheath was found at the scene. The authorities have made the claim that nobody else's DNA could have been on there except Bryan Kohberger's, and that the number is some type of octillion with 27 zeros. An octillion is not even a number, specifically 5.37 octillion. Why not 6.37 or 5.98? How can it be so specific that it's 5.37 octillion? They say that's 27 zeros added at the end. That's make-believe, that's fantasy. That's like telling all your friends you saw a unicorn in the wild. You think anyone's going to believe you? I certainly wouldn't. Why not 4 octillion, 10 octillion? What's the difference once you get past real numbers? The highest actual real numbers that exist is trillions. Quadrillions if you're feeling frisky. Anything beyond that is simply smoke and mirrors. I've seen a lot of true crime cases, read a lot of court documents, and I have never, ever, ever seen the audacity of the absurdity of such a specifically ridiculously big number of 5.37 octillion. Not real, ladies and gentlemen. It's just not. That's called overcompensation. And when you're overcompensating, red flag. And when I see a red flag, boom. I don't like being lied to. And 5.37 octillion feels like a lie, in my opinion. They say there's something like 7 or 8 billion people on planet Earth. So if there's only 7 or 8 billion, what in the world is an octillion? That sounds like fake news to me, ladies and gentlemen. Keep in mind, this is all just somebody else's fantasy that I'm talking about here. It's not mine. Anyways, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And I don't want to be fooled again and again and again in this case. I was fooled initially. Initially, I made a series of videos based on the official story.
Yeah.
I believed that.
Octillions, aren't they from Octilia? Like, 500 light years away and off to the right.
I assumed they got the right guy. They said the DNA matched. They said they found evidence. They said he had the same car. They said it was him. And I believed it. I made videos saying Brian Kohberger was guilty. I took some time away from the case. I did some analyzing. I did some research. I did some investigative detective work. And a lot of you out there emailed me and were in communication with me with information. I read all of it. And I came to the conclusion the so-called evidence is super weak. Super, super, super weak. The so-called evidence is basically not even real, in my opinion. Remember, this is all alleged speculation, and none of us know what we're talking about. All of the words coming out of my mouth is just somebody else's fantasy.
Right, war.
Yeah. Boom.
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 There's a lot of booms here at Crime Circus. Some booms are in the mind state of the viewer, but I'll never knowingly steer you wrong here. Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana, they need us. They need us now more than ever.
They do.
And we are going to get to the bottom of this case. We being me and you, the viewer. Together, we are the Crime Circus cult. And for those of you that didn't know, that's actually my second YouTube channel. We're almost to 100,000 subscribers, but we're not there yet. If you watching this right now will go down and click the link, you can help us get to 100,000 subscribers.
Not right now. You can do it after this video. But anybody that hasn't sub to Crime Circus, you have to do it. I mean, you really have to. I haven't done his. Has anybody? Is anybody part of that other one that he has, the Crime Circus? What he just mentioned, that second channel. Does anybody know what that's about? Hi, Steve. All right, thank you. Does anybody know about? Yeah, I don't. It's a bigger channel. Are you serious? He's got like 100,000, almost 100,000 on this one. Wow. I'm going to have to sub to that one. I'm going to have to look it up.
That'll be a boom. We're going to do a big celebration, and it's going to be awesome. Anyways, there's been a lot of confusion about cell phone data.
I think I'm going to email him.
His attorney says he was driving around.
I think I'm going to email him and ask him if he would like to come up on panel sometime. I would just totally love to have this guy on panel. Wouldn't you just love to like get into this guy's brain a little bit? I would. I think it'd be cool. I think I messed up here though. I think I'm gonna have to fast forward this. I think I kind of messed up about do that.
Bad. Anyways, riddle me this, riddle me that. Some of us just need to get a clue. And what I mean by that, you got to read between the lines. Because when you get a clue, that clue can be very important. If you want to be an online detective, you have to be a really good online detective if you want to solve this case. You got to think a little outside the box, and you can't believe everything you read or told. There is a lot of false information going out there about this case. Anyways, when you see Bryan Kohberger walk into the courtroom, you can see he's confident. Some of you have tried to nitpick his micro mannerisms, that he's clenching his jaw, or you can see his temple pulsating. Folks, he's in a courtroom surrounded by bad energy, with cameras all over the place. He's potentially facing a firing squad. He's potentially being falsely accused of quad passing away, the craziest big news story in modern history. Yeah, you might clench your jaw too. That is not a signal of guilt. His temple pulsating, yes. He has a heartbeat. He's not a vampire. Although it is said that he was up for all hours of the night. So what? I am too. So, to wrap this up, what have we learned? Bryan Kohberger is the tall man. Bryan Kohberger is presumed innocent. Bryan Kohberger appears to have the confidence of an innocent man. Bryan Kohberger's attorney seems to have really good courtroom energy with her client. If that wasn't a court setting and I saw them on a park bench sitting that way next to each other, I would honestly think they were a happy couple, enjoying each other's company. Just a little date night of sorts. And in closing, the grand jury. What do they have to hide? Why so many secrets in this case? To me, that raises super red flags. And when I see red flags, it makes me raise bushy eyebrows to this case. It really does. I've been investigating different individuals, and I've seen a lot of people with bushy eyebrows, and the consensus says Bryan Kohberger does not have bushy eyebrows. That's just not really even deniable. This guy does.
Does anybody know if that guy that they just showed with the bushy eyebrows, did they ever find out who that is? I mean, does anybody know who that is? Anybody out there? I'm just wondering who it is. You know what I mean?
Bryan doesn't. Boom. If it was really so obvious that Bryan was guilty,
Oh, yeah.
a 5 octillion to 1 chance that it was his DNA. If it was his car on the cameras, it would all be so obvious, and he would not embarrass himself or his family that he loves very much by making this a media circus spectacle. He would just plead guilty like Chris Watts did and fade away into obscurity.
Yeah, it's Saeed. Right. Yeah, you're right. Somebody did a video on him or something. Uh, you know all about him more? When are you going to be done with your action? Yes, or eagle. Yeah, Saeed something. Big bushy black eyebrows. Yeah, and he was what, like 200 yards from it at 3:12 in the morning. You know what I mean? Saeed, right? Yeah, but I wonder if that, was he ever investigated at all? I mean, were any of those people? Did the police ever go looking for those ones running in the back? And I got a question after watching. I think it was one of Huda's videos. I really got a question why there was an unmarked car there at that time. I don't know. This can go so many ways, and that's just a strange thing to me.
It would just be that simple. And then details of this crime really wouldn't be made public because when someone pleads guilty, people move on with their lives usually. It's on to the next true crime case. The
Yeah,
more I look into this case, the more I want him to be guilty, but the more I think he's probably not guilty. There's just no evidence.
this channel. Yeah,
There's been a lot of fantasizing going on where people wish that the so-called tidbits of info that has been released fit Brian Koberger. But the truth is, the timeline has changed since day one. The information has changed since day one. They keep changing things. During the initial press conference, we were led to believe there were 2 roommates on the bottom floor, Dylan and Bethany. 6 weeks later, they suddenly tell us Dylan was actually living on the 2nd floor.
He was in the
That's a
Banfield,
change.
right? So
that's a red flag.
He was in the Banfield, wasn't he? At the beginning, wasn't he there? Right. He was 21. You're right. Or yep. What's that, Ron John? Okay, I'm reading here. Yeah, I just, oh, really, buddy? Huh. Okay. I was gonna wait. I was gonna do a video on this anyway, and I want to see you guys' opinion on this because don't you think that it's all in that community, and that it has nothing to do with Brian at all? To me, I mean, you have everybody's in that community. Everybody, even now, say he, yeah, right, Ron, yeah, Huda, I watch that video. I forget a lot of things sometimes, and it's old brain, man. Anyway, that community, you got Jack the Courier, you got Jack Showalter, you got, you know, you got Ian Harsh, you got everybody is in that community. Uh, I don't know. It'd be it's so easy for any of them to go in there with like, and I don't think one person could do this. I mean, Bundy did 4, right? We watched that video, or some of us here in this room right now, we watched that video before I got shut down on it, but we watched it, and he killed 4 in 15 minutes. This is 8 minutes. 8 minutes. There's just, I have a hard time believing that one guy did that in 8 minutes. Yeah, that's the heat. I mean, that's, he's got some bushy eyebrows. and I have to agree with Drip Drop that Brian doesn't have bushy eyebrows. That's not bushy eyebrows. The see now that's bushy eyebrows. You know, I'm gonna drop a link again. Anybody wants to come up? Oh, are you talking about Enon Harsh, Kathleen? I've kind of started to look into him again. There's one channel out there that's really doing a deep dive. They're on their I don't know, 6th video on them. If you guys know what I'm talking about, which one I'm talking about, I should look for it actually. Okay, I'll let this play out here.
They initially told us the crime happened around 3 a.m. After Koberger was arrested, they suddenly say it was just after 4 a.m.
Yes.
That's a change. That's a red flag. That makes me raise a bushy eyebrow. They told us it was a 2011 to 2013 white Hyundai Elantra. Suddenly, Brian Koberger was driving a 2015 Hyundai Elantra, and the information changed. If law enforcement has to keep changing the so-called evidence to fit their man, maybe their man isn't actually their man unless this is just way higher up than them. And that's all I'm going to say on that because, well, anyways, moving on. We were even told a very specific certain time that Kaylee and Maddie arrived home. Kaylee's sister came out and said, that's not true. They actually arrived home at this time. Moscow PD also told us Maddie and Kaylee were dropped off by an Uber. Uber made a statement saying no Uber driver was involved. Moscow PD made the correction and said, oh, it wasn't Uber, it was just a private driver.
Like last night.
Okay, red flag, boom. None of us even knew that there was a DoorDash driver until the arrest affidavit came out. We had all just only speculated because of the Jack-in-the-Box bag.
Let's just talk here because Huda put out a really good video. She's been putting out quite a few good videos. But they were watching that phone, and I had seen that. She had said something like, she hadn't seen it before. I had seen it before, but I just couldn't distinguish what it was. But someone told me, oh, you click on the link. Let me see if you're in here. Maybe you're in here. Yeah, you're okay. War is in here. There we go. Okay, the first little thing you do is you have to click to go into the studio. Make sure your mic is working, and blah blah. You can make it so the cam isn't working or is working. That's up to you. And then just come on in, just enter, and then I put you in. Hi, where you go?
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, how you doing, girl?
Good, how you doing?
Yeah, who to the gym, Elbow, no doubt about it. Yeah. What do you think about that, Warrior? Did you watch Huda's video? I had seen that one other place where it looks like it's like Maddie's room that they're watching on that phone in the Banfield. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see whose video, but I mean, I've seen the pictures from the phone. I can't really make it out, to be honest with you. I think Harry Dalton did a video.
Yeah, someone had a really good one where you could actually see like pink walls or something.
Yeah, I know Harry Dalton did. He's also the one that I probably shouldn't say it, but he's the one that supposedly there was a live stream He uploaded that on YouTube. I don't know if it's still on there, but I was actually surprised they let it stay up as long as it did.
And it showed Maddie's room or what?
No, it was like it was just kind of like a supposedly a live stream of the actual unalivings.
Oh, right. Oh, you're
Just kind of
talking
like
about
clips. Yeah, it was some video that was found on some website called Documenting Reality that is supposedly full of that type of stuff. And I don't know. I don't even. Nobody really knows if it's actually that or not. But yeah, a lot of people had seen it, and I think it might still be up. But he also did one of Brett Kopaka's eye, because they were comparing the pictures from his eye picture to the pictures on Saeed's phone, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen that one. Can you guys still hear me? Can you hear me, War?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I kind of did something different here, and I'm just trying to make sure. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that.
Saeed has been on my radar a little bit because he in that Banfield video, he tells the cops he's 21 and he starts to take off. And they're like, hang on, don't leave yet. We're going to, they want to like run his name, right? So
Right.
they run his name and, whatever information he gave him. And the cop says to him, and he kind of says it like, after they run his name, he kind of says it almost on the down low, like, are these your boys? Are those your boys? Talking about the other three. And Saeed says, no, I don't know them. And he's like, okay. And Saeed takes off. Well, first of all, I'm thinking, why is he asking, are these your boys? Like, what does that mean exactly? Like, you don't say that like, I mean, like, are these your frat brothers? Are these your friends? Like, your boys? I was thinking when they looked up Saeed, like, I was thinking Saeed might be like an undercover or something, because it's like when they looked up his name and it was like, oh, you're good. You can go. Are these your boys? Like, they were going to let them go if he said, yeah. You see? And Saeed was like, no, I don't know them. But then I find out that Saeed knows all of them. They're all in the same frat. There's pictures of all of them. I went on all their Instagrams. Saeed has like 2 different names that he goes by. One of them, I don't have them because I have to get into my screenshots and I'll probably screw this up if I try to do that. But he had 2 different names that he goes by. One where his Saeed is his first name and one where Saeed is his last name. And like one of them was the LinkedIn. I don't know. He's sus to me.
Yeah,
got some fancy ass eyebrows.
Has anybody done a real deep dive on that guy? Like where he's from, and just done a real.
I mean, the only, I couldn't find a whole. I mean, I'm kind of late probably to the game with him, but I know he was like, all these guys were into wrestling. It seems like every time I look up any of these guys, they're all like, they all wrestled when they were like in high school and maybe even going into college. And I think that's how a lot of them seem to be connected. So he was definitely into that. And I think he has a sister. I don't know. There's some information out there on him. I wasn't able to get all of it because I start looking at one person and then I end up getting sidetracked and looking into somebody else.
I know how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like that whole Banfield thing is just so suspect. And then, there's also the, supposedly, like, there was a 911 call made from a neighbor, a noise complaint call. Well, not a noise complaint, but there was supposedly this 911 call that happened at like 3:01 a.m. from some neighbor that heard a scream, which happens like when they're at Banfield, or it either happened while they were already there, or that's what they were supposed to be going to, but they ignored it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, that happened at, I think it was 312, right?
I thought it was like 301. I could be wrong, but regardless, it's like, where's the record of that? Because if somebody called 911, there should be a call log for that.
Right. And who called in the Banfield thing to begin with?
Well,
you know what I mean?
I don't even know that anybody called that in. I think that they were
quite convenient.
That's what they were doing, but it was almost like they were running cover.
Right.
I mean, if you really want to go down the conspiracy theorist road.
You're right. I know, and I try to stay away from that. But with this case, it's really hard not to go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And maybe it's just because of the gag orders and the secrecy, but it's really not good for them, doing that, because it's just making everybody question everything.
Right. I know what I can run here. Let's see if I can find it here. I've been going back and watching some of. Do you ever watch? I love her presentations. Do you ever watch Grizzly True Crime?
No, I haven't watched much of her either. I really am kind of new on the YouTube, so I didn't really know it was a big thing until a couple months ago.
Okay. She's got some really good. Her presentation is just unbelievable. Just really good, and she's got a lot. She's got 218,000 subscribers. That's got to tell you something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's good at what she does. And I was going back because she did some videos like 8 months ago. And I'll tell you what, there's some information in there that I forgot about or didn't even know about maybe. Let's see if I can find it. What I might have to go to my history here or something.
Well, I haven't told too many people this because I've never been on a panel, but I have a friend who, in one of my sports groups, where I first kind of learned about this case, and he actually is from Idaho, and he had 2 boys that were there at school there when this happened, and his 2 boys knew Dylan and a bunch of these kids and a lot of the Sigma Chi kids and just the whole general friend group. And he was giving us a lot of information, kind of like a Kim thing. I know I'm going to sound like Kim. I'm not going to really say much of, anything, but it was kind of that type of situation. He was giving us a lot of information. This is like a private paid sports group. I mean, you have to pay to be a member of this group, and we have message boards, and we're mostly talking about football. But there's a general message board, and somebody started a thread about the case, and he came in and he was talking about it because he had kids there. And he was asking his kids, getting information from his kids, like, because we were all talking about it. And he was giving us a lot of information they were getting from Dylan and her friend group. And it was odd because we never got anything from Bethany because they weren't really friends with Bethany, like they were more friends, or their friends were connected to Dylan. So the stuff that they were getting was coming from her. One thing that he did say right away, as soon as Brian was arrested, and I know this has been retracted by the owner of the Mad Greek publicly, after the article came out in People magazine, but he did say that they knew him from Mad Greek. I mean, and that was like immediately he said that, and I've got
they knew Saeed.
No, they knew Brian from Mad Greek.
Oh, they knew Brian?
Yeah, he told us
The
that.
Mad Greek. Right, right,
What Mad Greek knew
right.
Brian. And Kayla used to work at Mad Greek, and a lot of people don't know that. She did work there too before she left.
Uh, who? Who? Kaylee? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You were
all
kind of
three of
cutting out there. Were you talking about
them.
Kaylee working there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kaylee worked there, and Maddie and Zan.
Yeah, I knew. Right,
Yeah,
right.
because I don't think a lot of people realize Kaylee actually did work there as well.
Okay, I'm going to share this. Okay, we can mute our mics while I share this. Or wait, I got to stop a screen here. Which one am I stopping? No, or no. Okay, yeah, that's right. I'll tell you what, running this thing sometimes is, for an old man, it's a joke. Okay, here we go. I'm hoping I'm at where I want to be here.
Back to the 4chan in a moment. Between the people with law enforcement and the people in the background of the body cam footage, there's about half a dozen people. The importance is they may have witnessed something unbeknownst to them. The body cam is stamped at 3:12 a.m. That is an important time. If the murders happened between 3 and 4, I understand why people are looking at the footage, because it's like the body cam is from 3:12 a.m. Police have previously maintained that they believe the murders took place between 3 and 4 that morning. Did they see anything? Did they hear anything? Even if they come forward and say, okay, it's us, we didn't see anything, nothing. Fine, great. Okay, so that's what's happening there. Cases with Cal says were Bethany and Dylan in a sorority. Yes, the same one as Maddie. Yes, they were. Okay, they are 6,000 grizzlies here. I'm going to have to just slow it down a little bit more. I'm so sorry about that. Sorry about that, everyone. I'll make sure that you only have to subscribe for 1 minute. And then the chat, I'm going to have to make it 63. Yeah, wait. Let's make it 120 for now. And by me, fine. I hope that's good. Okay, let me know though. So back to what we were looking at. So if we look at this again on 4chan, they said one person doing the wet work and up to 3 people on the lookout. It could be 5 people then. If it's 6 people seen there, we just don't know. We don't know. So that's posted on 4chan. Carrying on now. Okay, so I'm going to start on the left. They say, I have it on good authority. Cousin is a cop in a nearby town, but called in to help in Moscow once school started back up. Apparently, the investigation is looking directly at the Sigma Chi frat party that Ethan.
I want to have you guys listen to this. I came to this part because I don't remember this, and I thought I watched all her videos a long time ago, and I don't remember this part. And this is kind of, how kids talk, and you can tell when they're telling the truth and when they're bullshitting. To me, this guy is, I don't know, it sounds real to me, but give it a listen and see what you think.
Ethan and Zaina attended from 8 to 9 that night. He did not have any updates on their timeline after they left 9 to 1:45, but did say it looks like the investigation is honing in on 2 suspects from the party that night, and an update should publicly name them by the end of the week. So the thing is, that is a big mystery. This whole what happened at Sigma Chi? What's the alcohol-related incident? What happened at the ball? Was Zaina at the ball? What happened between 9 and 1:45? Very interesting. Very interesting, right? Stefan says, a 6,000 bear sleuth. Did you guys know that a group of bears is called a sleuth? So for everyone who's like, why grizzly? Why is a grizzly true crime? What is a grizzly? Do you have grizzlies in South Africa or the Netherlands? No, we're a sleuth. We're a group of grizzly bears, okay? But I also just like it. Just love grizzly bears. Okay. So carrying on. Sigma has made their socials private and removed all info from Facebook going back a few years. Now, I was like, really though? are you sure about that? But then I went to look and I'm like, oh, damn, they really did. Oh, my word, they actually did that. Why did they do that? That makes me suspicious. What do you guys think? Okay, good. Sorry, I think I'm missing some things. Gerald, unconfirmed, but there's allegedly a photo of the house at 3:09 a.m. on the 13th. I wonder if that's a photo of the house, a photo of, oh, okay. I think that's from the Reddit one, right? So if I missed anyone's sticker, thank you, Gerald. Thank you so much, W.A. Russell, and thank you, D.R.A. Latina. I could just see them highlighted at the top there. Thank you so much. Okay, so if you look here, the Sigma Chi University of Idaho fraternity, yeah, all the posts have been removed that are recent, and now it only goes to October 1st, 2018. Why is that? Why? I don't know. But I'm like, that's interesting. Did the FBI remove it? Sometimes the FBI removes things or limits comments or whatever. They can do that. Thank you, Gerald. Oh, wait, sorry, you say on 4chan. Oh, okay. So, yes, here it is. And we can also see it. Wait, there's one here. We've got Idaho Sigma Chi on Twitter. There's only up to 2019. The rest may have not been posted or may have been deleted. I'm not too sure. So that goes up to 2019. So nothing for 2020, 2021, or 2022. And then Instagram, Idaho Sigma Chi. We've looked at this members only probably 2 weeks ago already. So if you want deep dives on some of these behind the scenes things I do with the research and telling you what tips I may have called in myself and stuff like that, yeah, we do that sometimes with our PJ parties for members and patrons. Okay, so here as well, let's just see. I just want to see when this post is from. This one's from November 23rd. So this is way more current. You can see Ethan is here as well. The Gamma Eta chapter of Sigma Chi is grieving.
Okay, I'm going to stop it here for a second. I want to ask you guys something. Is this picture just a little odd? He's right in the center. He's like the center of attention, right? Don't you think? What are these signs? What are these signs here? Does anybody know? Look at this guy too. What is this? Is that like a frat thing or something? Or what is this? Why are they, and why is he in the middle? Does anybody know what's going on there?
Maybe chat knows. I don't know.
Yeah, I just wonder. I wonder what that's about. Anybody got any ideas? I mean, do you get the same word? Do you get the same impression I'm getting here that he's like the center of attention, being in the middle like
I
that?
see somebody in chat saying it looks photoshopped. It does kind of look photoshopped.
Yeah, it's just
If you look at the
very
guys in the
odd.
front, they're like cut in there.
Yeah, this guy looks like he's photoshopped in there. That doesn't look right there for some
Aren't
reason.
those the devil horns? The pinky and the forefinger, is that the devil horn sign?
Well, that's a rock and roll sign. I think Ronnie James
Yeah.
Dio, who I opened for at one time way back.
I mean, they could be trying to look cool.
But yeah, but I mean, they're all like pointing in, and it's like he's the main. I don't know. I just get a really weird feeling about that picture for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Could be me.
Yeah. I mean, I just, I was also reading an article earlier, that was talking about that missing timeline between 9
Right.
and 140. Was it 145 or 12:45?
There's supposed to be
Where
one. I've heard 1 o'clock, but the PCA says 1:45. I think.
Yeah, where Ethan and Xana were, and then it was like they just kind of dropped it, and then all of a sudden the PCA came out, and it was like, oh yeah, Bethany said they were at the Sigma Chi party, and it's like, well, she wasn't even there that whole time either.
Right.
And then we
Okay,
get that
let's keep
Linda Lake
going
footage,
here. She's
which
going to get
really
into
was
some good stuff here in just.
Being the loss of our beloved brother Ethan Chapin following the senseless tragedy that took his life over the weekend. We collectively extend our sincerest condolences and our most heartfelt thoughts and prayers to the family of our dear brother Ethan, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Consalves. We also extend our most tender sympathies and fervent support to the women of Alpha Phi and Pi Beta Phi, who also join us in grieving their loss. We respectfully ask for time and space so we may support each other in our healing process during this most unimaginable of times. GoFundMe link can be found in the bio. Fly high, E. We'll miss you forever. Ooh, that's just so sad. Oh my word. So yeah, the Instagram one is much more current, but the Facebook one's not current. Twitter, not current. So moving back to the 4chan. Hope you guys are following my flow. Okay. So here they say.
Okay, the 4chan. Do you guys know that about that? That's where you can stay anonymous. Just to let y'all know.
I'm just checking. Okay. Sigma has made their socials private and removed all info from Facebook going back a few years. They believe Ethan and Xana were the main targets, stemming from an argument that night. Downstairs, survivors could hear two males rummaging through the room above them. Figured it was an after party, locked the doors, and went to bed. When they discovered them in the morning, about 30 minutes before the 911 call, they called their friends at Sigma to come over, who in turn called the police. It's right across the street. For whatever reason, it was from Sigma upstairs around 2:15 that night. The back door was left open, one dead in the bed, the other blocking their room's door with their body. Police just updated their Facebook to reiterate that they are not looking into the activities of that night. And we've already seen these two, well, at least this one, this fraternity is on like probation. We've had a look at that before, so check that out in a previous episode. But they say they are not looking into the activities of that night, only the murders, which to me suggests something went on, a fight, drugs, etc., and spilled into anger later that night and got them killed. Also, didn't want to release the profile they created as it would cause undue fear in the community, i.e. Greek life. More coming shortly. Okay, so let's just see what you guys are saying. Yes, and congrats to Robin Randa for being a member for 3 months. Generally, Jenny's like, Rogaine Jack. Oh, man. Okay, and Diana says they may not have used those two, but use Insta more. Perhaps, yes, perhaps. Okay. And PT says, I have a 50% PJ party now. Very, very nice. Valerie says, let me tell you something. Okay. So then we carry on here. They say it looks to be the case, never relaxed around roided up wigger zoomers. So Dirty South Loach did it, and Rogaine Jack was in on it. And Titties was in the wrong place at the wrong time, i.e. Madison's bed. So again, I'm just reading what they're saying. I would never talk like this in my life, but that would be David Loach that we looked at earlier. Rogaine Jack. I still wonder exactly which Jack that is. Rogaine Jack. I mean, is it Jack S? Is it food truck guy? I don't know which Jack that is. Jack 1, 2, or 3? And then they're calling Kaylee a derogatory name there as well.
But if you listen now to the way this person is talking on 4chan here, you can tell that like maybe he's a frat kid, or that he knows them and hangs with them. I mean, you can just tell he's telling the truth here. That's my opinion. Let me hear your opinion after you guys hear this a little bit here.
Yes, except Rogaine Jack was not in on it. It was Schizo, CUNT, Berry, and Dirty South Loach. Then they say, how was Jack in on it? I don't buy it. The comment about ample opportunity was in response to someone asking why Rogaine Jack didn't take revenge on Dirty South Loach if he was aware that Dirty South Loach had killed his girlfriend, Maz. So that's Jake. See, they're messing up the names here. If they had just studied some of the stuff that we've covered, there's 3 Jacks, there's a Jake, which is Maddie's boyfriend, a Jeremy, a Joe, a Justin, and a James. Mm-hmm. I think they're talking about Jake, Maddie's boyfriend, because they're talking there about it. Okay. The bishop says, OMG, I won't be able to sleep tonight waiting for tomorrow's Delphi live show. You and me both. You and me both. I'll be very excited as well. So they say, wonder if Frat Anon is Ethan's brother. Taking suggestions for what to call this mess so far. I've got the Ballsack Massacre, Nutgate, Bromageddon, the U of I, Zoomer murders. And they say, steroid wigger Zoomers. David Berries liked a tweet the day after the murders. And they show that, so I'm not too sure exactly what that is because now everything's archived. And they say Loach's tweets about leaving the country, preferably in reference to a sports game, but it shows it's on his mind. That is interesting. So never mind the rumors of, oh my word, is the Jack S, did he leave the country? Is he in Africa? Well, I don't know where the hell is Loach? Where the hell Loach at? Oh man. I'm just saying, this proves the point that I was saying earlier as well. I think it was about 2 or 3 episodes ago, live streams ago, where it's like everyone's focusing, of course, on the food truck video and all the characters we know about. But this is the, what happens on the internet. But the thing is, what about all the ones we don't know? There must be so much footage from the corner club, as we say. There must be footage from the game that happened that day. Who knows who attended it, if they did or didn't. We don't know. We don't know what they did before 10 o'clock at night, right? Okay. Sorry, I'm laughing at someone's comment there.
That's something else I haven't heard of either. And maybe you know more. Does anybody have footage of the football game? I mean, it's funny that I've never seen any footage of the football game. Know what I mean?
No, I haven't seen that, but I can clarify a couple of things that she's talking about. So my friend and I did explain about Jake, who is or was Maddie's boyfriend.
Right?
Yes. His name was Jack, but he goes by Jake. So the frat guy that came on 4chan and was accusing the Davids obviously knew these people, and he did refer to him by his actual name, which was Jack. I don't know if he went by Jake because there were just so many Jacks in their friend group, or if it was something that he did, from when he was younger.
Okay.
But he did specify that his name actually is Jack, and he goes by Jake.
Oh,
because we were all doing the same thing. Like, how many freaking Jacks are there here?
Right. Well, in my hand, and you know this from watching me, that there's been 2 Jacks in my hand for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know about going to a 3rd and a 4th.
One other thing that he told us that I see a lot of misinformation about, but I don't really correct anybody because it's pointless, is the whole Jack Showalter and him getting kicked out of the corner club. That is absolutely not true. There was a guy that did get kicked out of the corner club that night because he was creeping on Maddie and Kaylee, but nobody knew the guy. He was like some guy from out of town. Yes, they thought the guy was like maybe there in town for the game or something. Nobody knew who he was there. He wasn't anybody knew. He got kicked out. He'd been bugging Maddie and Kaylee, and Maddie and Kaylee had complained about him to, probably Adam. That could be what Maddie told Adam.
Oh, wow.
About the guy that was
No, this is the first time I've heard this one.
I know, because you know what? The people in our group, we don't talk about it. We don't go outside of our, boards there. We kind of have like a code of honor. And, I haven't said anything to anybody about it. But, the word got out that somebody was creeping on them in the corner club, and everybody thinks it's Jack Showalter, and it's not. So when I hear people, you know,
From
accusing
out of
Showalter,
town, right? Well, that
well,
brings
yeah, and I actually get kind of upset about it because he was actually looking out for them because when they left the corner club, the guy had gotten kicked out, and he was walking them to make sure they got to their ride to get home safe
oh,
because they didn't know where
that
the guy
makes a
went.
lot of sense, War. That makes a lot of freaking sense.
And there was a post on 4chan, and it was signed Showalter at the end. And I do believe it was actually him that came on there and posted. I think I have a screenshot of it. And he made a post on 4chan after all this went down, and he said something like, he was talking about how you guys have no idea how much I regret that I wasn't there to help them that night, or it was just like the type of thing you would expect from somebody who was friends with them and cared about them to say. And it was
Right.
really sad, actually, and I'm convinced it
And
was
that,
him.
that was Showalter? Or who was that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was him. I mean, everybody's anonymous. You can put your name
Right,
on there,
right.
but he signed it at the bottom. He
Well, let
wrote
me
like,
tell a story. Let me tell everybody a story here. An out of towner, right? Well, there was this serial knifer from what team was it they played? I can't remember the initials. Um,
it was that team from California where that crazy knife guy killed those
right.
stabbing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right. And guess what? He was the medical guy for the team.
right.
Yes, he was the guy in the medical tent for that.
Supposedly, I mean, yeah, we don't know for sure that he was.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
Allegedly. Yes.
right.
Allegedly he was. And I kind of did some digging, and all I could come up with was a bunch of yeses that he was the medical guy in the tent that night.
Yeah, I haven't seen any receipt that he was actually in Idaho, but I don't know how to get that. You know what I'm saying? Unless you actually got
It was
confirmation.
posted. It was posted like in some kind of a chat room or something um from that school. What was the anybody out there know the what's the
Was it
who they
Southern
played
Cal?
at? There was two different football
I think it was
games that
Southern
night.
Cal.
Uh, yeah, that's a big boom. Yeah, that's a big boom.
Yeah, I don't
Wow,
remember.
well,
I would
that's
have
really interesting.
I have like 3,000 screenshots on my phone, and obviously the
Right.
information he was giving us was starting in like right after it happened. Like he literally had I knew they were looking for like a Rambo type knife before anybody else did. We knew they had gone into
Right.
the knife shop before it came out. Like we knew a lot of things. We knew they had a car on video speeding away before that
Okay,
came out.
when you say we, who are you talking about?
Well, the people that are in my sports group that he was telling
Oh,
us
okay.
this,
Okay.
but like I said, we kind of have like an honor code, so we don't like nobody in that group was going to go post what he was telling us on like Facebook or anything like that. It's just like nothing ever got out. Like it stayed in the group.
Yeah, it needs to get out. That needs to get that.
Well,
That's a
I mean,
really
I'm telling
important
you a
piece of
few things.
information. That's the
I'm
biggest
telling
boom I've
you
heard for a while.
I'm telling you a few things. I'm not going to say everything because it is kind of a code of honor. But
Uh-huh.
I
Email me.
I do want to clear. I did kind of want to clear up the Showalter stuff and the corner club thing because that was kind of irking me because I
Uh-huh.
know that wasn't him, and I know he was trying to look out for him, and he wasn't acting weird. It did kind of look like they just took off, and it looked like he was kind of like, "Oh my God, they took off." But people are like, "Oh, he
Yeah,
thought
I
he was
must have
late."
irked you then.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, he thought he was going to get laid," and he was so upset that Katie left him. That was so not it at all. Like, so not it.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, I guess it is a big boom. I mean, I've known this since November, so like for me, it's just like I guess like, I get aggravated when I, go into these chats and everywhere, like on Twitter and whatever I look at, and I see people, saying shit, and I'm like, no, you're just so wrong.
Wow. Yeah, I never heard that one before. And
Yeah.
did you check into it'd be really hard. No, everybody's going to clam up about it probably, right? But why would they? Because you know what I mean? I mean, people should be able
They
to find
have
that
a,
out.
I mean, it's just, he was saying, like, listen, there were over 120 kids interviewed by the FBI and Homeland Security. I mean, these kids had the fear of God put into them. You wonder why nobody in that town is talking? That's why.
Right.
I mean, you
Right.
sit down like a 19, 20-year-old kid with an FBI or Homeland Security guy. They said they were really nice to him and super respectful, and all that. But I'm sure, like, if you have one of those guys telling you, keep your mouth shut, don't run your mouth, like, they're going to listen. And as soon as those interviews started happening, and they were trying to cram them in before they left.
But Ann Taylor needs to know about this. Ann Taylor needs to know about this
I would think she
because
knows.
I don't know. I don't know the way things are all clammed up. I didn't know about it. I bet you. Who all knew about this out there in the crowd out there? Who all knew about this? I bet you there's nobody
Well,
that knew
I
about
mean,
this.
okay, so the people at the corner club would know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That Ann
they
Taylor
told
needs to
well, they
investigate this.
spoke to the, right. Well, they spoke to the police, so that would be in their police tips, right? So that
What's
should be
that,
in
girl?
discovery.
You're cutting out.
Oh,
Hello, hello.
sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Can you hear me?
What'd you just say?
So the police spoke to the owners of the corner club, so they would have that information,
Right, right. Yeah, you would think.
which
Or Adam,
would
right?
which would be handed over to the defense in discovery. So Ann would have that information, and they do have all kinds of cameras in the corner
But
club.
did
So
did the police ask, about, I mean, if nobody asked, you know what I'm saying? If the
well,
question wasn't asked, it might not have
Moscow,
even came up.
we're talking
It
about
might
Moscow Police Department, but I would imagine that the owners of the corner club, I mean, the kids were all talking about it. Like, obviously I wouldn't even have that information if the kids weren't talking about it because they told their dad about it. So, yeah, it was being talked about. And, the
right,
owners of the
Kat.
corner club were interviewed. So I have to imagine they mentioned it to the police. They had cameras inside the corner club. So they probably have whoever it was on camera. So Anna has to know about it. I mean, assuming the police didn't just completely ignore it, you
But
know.
that's what I'm worried about here. That
Well, yeah.
it didn't even get written down. You know what I'm saying? Oh, somebody was drunk and they got thrown out.
Yeah. I mean, we are talking about Moscow Police Department. You're right. But
Right. And it might not have been told, they might have said, yeah, there was some guy that was drunk. He got kicked out. But they might not have said, yeah, he was acting weird towards Kaylee and Maddie. They might not even have
well,
known that.
yeah. I mean, I think the owners of the corner club know. I mean, they were made aware. I mean, they're the ones that kicked them out, supposedly. And Adam is the
Exactly,
bouncer.
Ron. Exactly.
Adam was the bouncer at the corner club. I mean, he's the one that threw the guy out. So, as far as what Maddie told Adam, I really think that's what that was about, possibly, was about the guy that was creeping on them and he kicked him out.
Right.
So, yeah, that's probably a bombshell. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I don't have, that for a fact that that's what she was talking about. But based on what I know about the guy creeping on them at the corner club, that would be my assumption.
This is quite interesting.
You never know what you're gonna get when you get the War Eagle on, do you?
What's that word?
You never know what you're gonna get when you get War Eagle on.
Right. Yeah, this is quite interesting.
First you thought I was a guy, then you find out I'm not.
Everybody thought I think Rory was the most shocked, though, I think. But I was pretty shocked.
I'm always ready to give you the bombshells.
Right? Yeah, that's a good one. Or if you want to email me some stuff anytime, man, it's just once upon a crime time at gmail.com. So it's easy to remember.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've got some screenshots I can send you. I'll get them. I'll get some of them together of the messages he posted, so you can see that.
No,
Because,
I don't,
I mean,
Elbow.
I'm not trying to be, another Kim or anything like that. Because I don't have any connection at all to Idaho. I've never been there. Don't ever want to go there. It just so happened that we had somebody that's from there. We had a couple FBI agents in our group, still going. I mean, it's not in the past. They're still there. We still have the thread going. It's just kind of died down because the interest has died down a little bit. I mean, they all think Brian did it. They're not questioning anything.
Well, look what Al just said. I just heard yesterday another creator say BK was the creeper at the bar. Huh.
No, I don't know. I mean, we don't have. That's interesting. Miss Elbow, my buddy. We don't have any indication that Brian was even in Moscow at that time of night, because that would be before they went to the food truck.
Right. Yeah. And that would explain why Jack walked with them. And that might be why he even when they were leaving, like he put his arm up, like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, I'm supposed to be watching you. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm going to tell you this is from 4chan. I've been on 4chan since the beginning. I find 4chan is a place that I was on 8chan like back when Trump was president and QAnon was around, so that gave me a good prep for 4chan. It's a very weird place to navigate, and if you don't really know what you're doing or know what to expect, you shouldn't go there, because you got to weed through a lot of, crap. But
yeah, I've never been there.
Well, it's not for everybody, but you kind of have to. There's some interesting stuff there, and there's tidbits of information there. You kind of have to know how to weed through the crap to find anything good. And there were a lot of threads about this case, and there were things that stuck out to me. And there was this one guy that was posting, and I found his post very interesting. And he was saying, and he kept posting it, randomly over several months, and nobody was really paying him any attention, but I was, because I found it interesting. He was saying that Jack D. Decor. And actually, I felt like it was actually Brian Koberger posting these. Okay, this is how creepy they were. He was saying, what if Jack Decor or Jack D hired somebody to follow Kaylee? Because you know how Kaylee said she had a stalker? What if Jack hired, what if Kaylee hired somebody to follow, Jack hired somebody to follow Kaylee around. He didn't really say why, just kind of like to keep an eye on her, maybe, spy on her, see what she was doing, because he wasn't there. Jack wasn't there. Just kind of after they broke up, follow her around, see what she was doing, keep an eye on her. And the guy he hired did such a good job that Kaylee thought she had a stalker. And I thought, that actually makes sense. And then he made another post, because you can tell it's the same person posting if they're doing it in the same thread, because they have the same user code. So you have to be able to know to look for that if you want to see the same person, and keep up with what they're saying. at one point, and this is why it made me think it was Brian, he said, I wonder if that person just happened to be a criminology student. And I was like, whoa, what the hell? I was like, okay, this is weird, and he was saying that Jack D had hired somebody, a criminology student, to follow Kaylee. And the guy had done such a good job of it that Kaylee thought she had a stalker. And then, because the guy had done such a good job of it, I guess the guy wasn't doing it anymore. And he had Jack Showalter doing it because, Kaylee knew him, and that was kind of his new job. Was he had Jack Showalter kind of keeping an eye on her too, and kind of like reporting back to him. Like he wanted to know if she was like hooking up with anybody. And I thought,
Wow.
that actually made sense to me. But when I saw the thing about him being a criminology student, I was like, oh my God.
Right.
So yeah, I just thought that was really interesting.
Huh. Yeah, that is.
I mean, and this was like
Interesting.
before, this was pre Brian Koberger. This was before, these posts were made before Brian was arrested, let me add. These posts were made like
I was gonna ask you that. Okay.
Oh yeah, they were made back in November and December. And there was another post that was super weird because there was a guy that was asking somebody, saying that his friend he kept asking this one guy that kind of seemed to like know what was going on, like LEYs that had like connections. He was saying that he kept asking, do you think anything, this isn't related to Pullman at all, is it? And the guy was like, why are you asking? He was like, well, I don't know, that route they showed, it looked like maybe it was going to Pullman, but I haven't seen Pullman. This is Moscow, right? And the guy was like, yeah, but it looked like, the route it could have gone towards Pullman. He was like, well, why are you asking? He was like, well, what if somebody in Pullman saw something really weird late at that? He said something like, what if somebody who happened to be like strung out on cocaine in Pullman saw something really weird in the middle of the night that night? And the guy was like, so I'm guessing you mean you saw somebody like all bloody or something? And the guy was like, well, I really don't want to talk about it because it was my friend. And that really struck me too. So there was like some guy on there that said his friend in Pullman, who was like some sort of coke addict, had seen something really weird in Pullman in like the middle of the night that night.
That is weird.
So yeah, I mean, you do have to keep in mind there are a lot of people that LARP on 4chan, but to me, like, just being discerning, like I'm pretty good at picking those out, and when people don't want to talk about it anymore, that's usually a sign that they're not LARPing. And he brought up Pullman, and nobody was talking about Pullman at all. And these were way before BK's arrest too. These were like back in November. I've been going back and looking at, their archives and stuff. And I always find stuff that I missed the first time. So yeah, it's been really weird.
Yeah, and here's here's one from the Canadian cat lady there. Katie's dad said that she didn't have a stalker, but now is that because? And I remember when he said that, it was the way he said it. It was like he knew something. Now, Jack DeCour might have said, hey, I hired a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Right.
I mean, we heard that she told, like, what about the guy at the vape shop? They were saying she had a stalker.
Right. Yeah.
I can tell you something else really weird that my friend from Idaho told us.
Okay.
This will be another one that'll blow your mind probably. And I mean, I'm guessing like this was Dylan's story. Nothing about Kaylee having a stalker ever came up. They said Dylan had a stalker.
Dylan did?
That's what the story was. And this is what she was telling her friends. She said she had a stalker, and he had been messing with their cars and their Wi-Fi, and that she had reported him multiple times, and she had been told that there was nothing they could do because he hadn't actually done anything.
Wow.
So even when it came out that Kaylee supposedly had a stalker, he questioned his kids, and the kids were like, no, we're not changing our story. Like, this is what was said. It was Dylan, not Kaylee.
Right.
So, yeah. And she never said she saw anybody in the house. That was never anything that was coming from them either. The story was there was somebody outside the house in a mask. So, I mean, you know, I'm sure it was
It's
a
just,
little bit of a game telephone, but
I just find it crazy, you know, that the police haven't. I mean, there's no way they could have checked all this stuff out. That, you know, I mean, there's been so much. That look how many channels it's taking to dig up what we're digging up, and the police were done and had their man in what, a month? Not even that, because they knew about Kohlberg on what, November 29th? Wasn't that the day that they kind of eyed in on him? So 2 weeks they already had a suspect. How can that be? How can that be with so much going on? It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know unless somebody gave him
Hey,
his
Golf.
name.
Golf is here. Yes. We got a good one going on, Golf. This has been crazy stuff we're learning. You got to jump up.
Yeah, I should probably jump off before I say anything I'm not supposed to.
Oh, you're fine, girl. We got 33. That's what I kind of like my little channel, because I love all these people out here. You know what I'm saying? Golf, watching from bed. That's what I usually do. But yeah, I kind of love my little channel here because there's not so many. You know, there's not 1,000 people in here. Geez, I watch that lawyer, you know, and he's got like 6,000 people chatting. It's like, oh my God, you know, I could never do that, for one thing.
Yeah,
Hi,
I don't
Doc.
think I'd want to be involved in anything that big.
Yeah, I love my people out here. They're awesome people, and you know, there's not so many. So
It's hard to actually pay attention to the show and the chat all at the same time. It is for me. Like I
it
can't
is.
concentrate on that.
All right. So are you coming up, Golf, or what? How long you been here, Golf? Did you hear any of this stuff? Golf. Wake up. Wake up. It's not a dream.
Golf ball cozy in her bed with her cat curled up next to her.
Right. Come on, Golf. Where are you? Okay. Oh, are you on? Oh, I see what you're saying. Right. Well, this has been a real interesting one. Do you want? Could you please tell Golf this story again about the bar? Can you read? Yeah, please. Thank you. Listen to this, Golf.
Are you listening, Golf? So, just to try to make a long story short, I have a friend who lives in Idaho and had a couple kids that went to school there and knows Dylan and a bunch of her friends. And apparently, that night at the corner club, there was some guy there that was creeping on Maddie and Kaylee, and he got kicked out. So it wasn't Jack Showalter. Nobody knew who he was. He was somebody from out of town. And so that's probably the reason Jack was walking them to the food truck and to make sure they got into their ride home safe. And it might even possibly be what Maddie was telling Adam about or talking to Adam about. She needs to be on panel. Hello? I can't hear anything.
Whoops. Yeah, I was muted. I hate that when I do that.
I thought it was me. I saw the link pop up and I'm like, well,
Okay, we're waiting for you.
I like
We're
to hear
waiting
her
for you,
response.
Golf. Yeah, I'm just wondering what her opinion is on this. That's kind of a. There's been a few booms tonight. The one of the booms was me getting slammed by YouTube earlier. They shut down my video.
Yeah, Rory can probably tell you about which one you
Right
gotta
up.
avoid.
Yeah, I hope I don't get in too much trouble with YouTube there.
I know somebody like Dago could for sure tell you which ones to avoid.
Which one's still what?
Which ones to avoid, doing that with.
Yeah, that was kind of a bummer. Well, Golf, what she's saying is that she must not have heard.
She may not have.
All right.
She can watch the replay too.
Yeah, you can watch a replay too, Golf. There's been some booms in here. There's no doubt. One is that. Go ahead, War. I'll let you explain it. All right, here she's coming on.
Hi.
There you go. How you doing from bed?
Well, now I can't read the chat is my only problem, because if I go back to my because I'm watching on my phone, if I go back to YouTube, then I'll be echoing. So sorry.
Oh, right. Yeah, so everybody, she's when she's up here, she's not going to be able to chat. So
Yeah. So let me know. So okay. So you said somebody was stalking the two girls at the corner club of the night of the 12/13th. There is that what you're saying, War Eagle?
There was some guy that was creeping on them, was how they worded it. So I guess he was like bothering them, and he like got warned, like leave them alone, and he wouldn't. He kept doing it.
Mm.
So
Well,
that was how they just.
and he got kicked out for it.
Yeah, they kicked him out.
To be honest, I always thought that guy, who was it, Jack Decor, who followed them around.
No, that's Jack Showalter, and it wasn't
Showalter.
him.
Yeah, sorry, I don't, Jack.
No, they know him. He's their friend.
He always looked like he was trying to look out for them. To me, at least, that's what it looked like.
That's exactly what War just said. That's what War that was part of the story.
Yeah,
that he was following them, with them because of that guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, even beyond that, I think he was there to protect them, and whatever it was, that's exactly what I felt when I watched that Grubhub truck, whatever it's called, video. So sorry, I'm really bad with names.
I always suspected him, but now that she has said this, even his hand when they leave and they left him there, his hand goes like what the hell? You know, I'm supposed to be watching you. Now that makes more sense to me.
And
That
they
makes
just
a
wanted to run
lot more
away
sense.
from him. Yeah.
Right.
So
They're trying to get away from their watch. You know, someone trying to protect them. You know.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
What?
Right.
So
Yeah,
what
I
have you
mean,
heard?
I think their ride was like, hurry up. But, you know, he was like, the guy that was driving them was like, come on, I'm going to leave you, you know.
Mm.
So they were waiting on their food for so long. The guy was waiting on them to come get in the car, you know,
And
so
Right.
they took off.
and I think Joe, he went live after a while, and he talked on TikTok, I think, on YouTube about his experience there, and that's exactly, I think, what he said too. That the girls
Yeah.
just took off, and then the guy was left standing there, like, what the hell? So that
Yeah,
was,
because
I
he
think,
had his
what he
back
said.
turned. Yeah, he had his back turned right when they were finally got their food. Showalter had his back turned, so he
Mm.
didn't know they had left. So when he turned around, he was like, "What the heck? They left. They're gone." You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that makes you know what? But now you know what the bummer is. I don't have a two jack hand anymore.
You have to cross him off of your suspect list.
But
Yeah.
I'm glad you debunked that for me. Actually,
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
curious
And
though
then,
what you think about the you know, they're gonna get you girls for this, and then, you know, what did you tell Adam?
Well,
You know,
that
I've been
makes
kind
sense
of,
too now.
yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, what's the, have you heard anything about that, War Eagle?
no, I would my assumption of what they might have told Adam would have been about the guy that was creeping on them at the bar. But I don't know. You know, nobody knows that.
That's a weird thing to say though, like they're gonna get you girls for this. I
And
think about a creeper. It
I'm
doesn't
not
make sense.
100% sure that's what he said.
No, I mean, if you listen, and I've been like fine tuning that audio, I can tell you verbatim that's what he says. He says they're gonna get you girls for this, and then they go into, what did you tell? That's before they get to the corner. So that's how it starts. So if you listen from the beginning, and you have to put headphones on and you have to crank it up
Right.
and you have
Yeah.
to go over it, and I've
Yeah.
done that like
Yeah.
millions of times, and that's verbatim what he says. They're gonna get you girls for
They're
this.
gonna get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's what.
and
That's what was said. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any explanation, but it also explains, like, a lot of people have talked about how Kaylee, when she's on her phone standing there, and she kind of she's kind of aware of her surroundings a little bit, when she's not looking at her phone. You know, she kind of looks around, and some people say she looks like she's a little nervous or whatever. And for me, like, when she does do those little, you know, looks off to the side and kind of looking like she's looking over her shoulder a couple times, it
Mm,
does kind of make sense that she's probably maybe looking for that guy that got kicked out.
mm. Yeah, that I don't. I mean, I've honestly, I mean, I've gone over that grub truck, but not in depth as many people have. So I couldn't tell you. To me, it seems like she was just like in some kind of chat with someone, like intensely, you know, ex-boyfriend, or, you know, whoever. So, but
Right.
I haven't taken the time to really like interpret that really well. It's a
Well, and another
4 hour
thing,
video. It's like, oh, because if you're gonna watch it, you have to watch all of it, is what I'm thinking. You know, you don't watch just those minutes when the girls are there. You really have to look at the what happened before, what happened after. And
The
I just
whole
never
night.
gone into it.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right. And you also have to look at what happened. And I still, you know, have a hard time believing that it wasn't within that community. I mean,
Mm,
just look at that community and who all lived around there. Everybody.
yeah,
Everybody.
yeah. I mean, there's a
You know.
million theories, and the way I
Right.
look at it right now is now we have like we're facing the theory of the Kohlberger is what I like to call it. And to be honest with you, everybody dropped all those old theories, right? It's like all about Kohlberger, and that's really what it is. Like, okay, what do you have on the guy? And that's what I've been focusing on more than anything, than finding like new theories, because I don't think any of us are going to be able to solve this without the facts. But once that comes out in court, that's when I think we may be getting a bigger picture of what's going on, because I think Anne is going to throw it all out there, even though maybe the prosecution don't want to. And so that's when we can start like, okay, what the hell really happened? That's
Right.
just my point of view.
It needs to be thrown out there. We need to
I
know.
absolutely, and I'm devastated over the cameras. Like, I think that's a part that if we're missing the cameras, or if we just get audio, that's okay with me. I don't need to see it, but I think that's a crucial part, because I don't want that interpreted for me. I want to be able to listen and pay my own, listen in my own mind, and not have someone do it for me. So I think it's super
Yeah.
important that we get that feed somehow.
I feel like that's just more part of the secrecy, if they don't have the cameras and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. Like, I think we discussed it yesterday, right? We talked about, like, okay, this is the guy that's like, he wants the attention. He's like this guy that's like cocky, like the media wants to portray him, and he's throwing it out there. No, I don't want the cameras on me, So maybe that's the reason why Anne is not doing it. But I think it would behoove the defense team to actually show it, to
Yeah,
lay
there
it
was a
all out.
video. There was a video someone put out. I'm not sure who it was. That stated that yesterday, the same exact thing, saying this is a big mistake by the defense to do that.
Absolutely. Lay all the cards on the table. Show the world, Don't let the
Right.
media twist this, because if you remove the cameras and the audio, it's going to be left to the media to interpret it for us, to put out what they deem,
Yeah.
what happened,
Right.
right? And
Right.
that's never a good thing. That's never a good thing.
Yeah, they're all going to be listening to Ashley, and oh my God, I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
really?
yeah. And the one two people that's going to be there, like somebody from News Nation is going to be there, and maybe some who's going to tweet out whatever he feels like tweeting out, right? So it comes down to like his perception. And so I think it's dangerous. I want those cameras there, especially this case is, I'm sorry, I don't want to cuss, but effing important, you know and so it's sort of almost beyond Koberger at this point. Like, what's been done there to these poor kids has been like, it's devastating, I think.
It is. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
And I
that
saw.
completely goes against the narrative that, Brian, he loves the spotlight and all that crap that they're trying to say. It's like, well, you can't have it both ways. You're saying, oh, he loves the spotlight. He wants to be in the
Yeah,
spotlight. He
there
thinks
was a
he's the
new.
smartest person, but he's not. He don't want any cameras. So how does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Exactly.
Right. Well, there was a new doc dropped saying they're going to. The judge denied that they're going to allow cameras. So
No. He's only
no.
No,
allowing it for the next for the what is it, September 1st on Friday. They're going to have a hearing
for
about
the motion.
cameras
Mhm.
in court, and he's allowing
Oh.
it for that day.
Okay.
So
All right.
I'm still saying there's room. Send those emails to the defense team and beg them to reconsider.
Well, I heard that one of the University of Idaho, one of their student media departments, they have a petition going around that they're trying to get the judge to allow them to do it,
Hmm.
which would be great, because they
Absolutely.
could use
I
that as
agree,
like
Deb.
an internship. And, so maybe, he would agree to do it, because they could just have a camera like up on the ceiling or just anywhere. We don't need to see Brian. We don't need to see anybody. I don't really care, because even the witnesses, let's say Dylan and Bethany don't want to be on camera, they can just tell the judge, I don't want to be on camera.
Yeah,
And the judge will
exactly.
say, okay, this person doesn't want to be on camera. It happens all the time on court TV
Yeah,
if a witness doesn't want to be on camera.
that's
Do you think?
But just
that's a good thing. I've never heard that before. So if they do a petition and I say throw court TV out of there, because they just
Yeah.
mishandled it. And
Yeah,
if you
they
look
did
at that, if you
terribly.
look at that document that just dropped, they're like, we're gonna stay within the confinements of courts. You know, they're like begging on
Just
their
a wide
knees.
shot. Just a wide
That's
shot of,
ridiculous.
you
They
know,
fucked it up. I'm sorry, they messed it up to begin
they
with.
fucked it up. No,
Yeah,
you're
they
right.
fucked.
They
Sorry,
fucked it
they
up.
fucked it up,
Yeah.
and then now
Yep.
they're
Their
begging.
cameraman got in a fight with the bailiff the other day.
Yeah, they did, but that was, I
I
think, the
mean,
still photographer. So that's why I think he's not allowing the
well,
still photographer. There was
still.
something going on with, I think he was just, taking pictures of Brian Goldberger, close-ups.
So unprofessional. They do this
Mhm,
all the time.
mhm. But
I
yeah,
wish
no,
they
Do
I
you
did
think
think
there's
this
he's.
anything
all
to
the
what Steve
time.
is saying there? Do you think there's anything to what Steve is saying there? I
Oh
don't think there would
my
be,
God, I
but
don't have glasses.
oh,
What's
okay.
it
It says
say? Read it.
Steve says it worries me because AG could get to Anne, and is that why she doesn't want cameras? Just wondering. I don't think that would happen, but
Who's he
AG
talking about? The Attorney General?
Attorney General. Yeah.
get to Anne.
I
I
don't know
want
what
to
he would have to do
explain
with
that a little bit
anything.
better, because I wonder what you
Okay. I
mean
think
by that.
what Steve is saying is, could the Attorney General get to Anne, being that she's a public defender, and get to Anne, and is that why she doesn't want cameras?
I honestly think the reason she doesn't want cameras is for the reason she says.
Yeah.
Because of the way the
Yeah.
media is portraying him.
Yeah, but
Right.
it doesn't
Right.
make it any better to remove it. Unfortunately, the media has done that from day one.
The damage has already been done.
Exactly.
As
So
concerned.
there is,
You know,
if
I
you
don't
take
know
away
what
the cameras, you're gonna make more damage. Like, it's gonna
they're
be
just
bigger.
gonna use all the same pictures they always
Elbow.
What?
Well, Anne Loving says they practically had camera up BK's nose, and an elbow goes and zoomed up on his crotch.
Yeah, that's really fucked up. Like,
It is.
especially after, like, they knew they were gonna fuck this up. The judge told
They
them, do
do.
not point your cameras at that dude, and they still
Did
do
you-
it. So
Did y'all see the Twitter account that did that with his crotch? Did you see what they actually did with it? They made a video and they put Coffin Dapper's face in the crotch.
oh,
It was worth
Right.
it for that.
interesting.
Right. Well,
But
we've been
yeah,
watching a grisly true crime video,
Mhm.
and I want to finish this up a little bit here, if you don't mind. Yeah.
All right. So, yes, Jake, exactly. That would be Jake S. hmm Okay, moving on. So then they say the tweets about leaving the country. Okay, so I'm assuming he didn't, and he's still there. And I'm sure the police are talking to everyone for information. It's Sigma Chi room. Once that third floor light turned off, they did it. 19 minutes total. Walked, the walk included, because the walk is very short as well. Walk in, do it, walk out. That's what they're saying. Talked about the shit at Bishop Kelly and Sigma Chi. Loach and Ethan got in a fight that night. Zaina allegedly talking shit. L had probs, that's Loach, with Mads also. This shit been brewing since fall rush last year. CUNTS went quiet on social media for 2 weeks before and after the deed. Barry's mom is paralegal, so he knows not to say. And then I don't know why they have to say had to take a okay. And then Sigma Chi 22 saw E, X, Loach, and Barry at the party. Loach and E have issues back to E, probably saying bruh. I say it all the time. I might be 38, but bruh. I hope you guys are following. Careful. Jack SC is in your neck of the woods. In the Netherlands? What? Okay. So Loach and Ethan have issues. Back to E rushing. I'm just saying the full name so you can follow. I'm just repeating what this person's writing. Ethan talks shit about Loach taking roids and having his balls shrivel. Okay. For dumbass youngins like E, tutors are assigned. Barry blew it with E. E, a second-year fresher. Barry also self-conscious about his spick blood and talks empty shit. Barry and Loach talked about the shit in general for a while. Talked about leaving their cell phones behind and on YouTube on autoplay. No pings, no guns, too loud, area dead early, Sunday mornings. Barry even calls out shit media. Media saying titties was a target. That shit is false. Titties bad luck. Targets were E, X, and Mads. Okay, Mads talked shit about Loach, never acknowledged Barry. Mads right about that one. He is a CUNT. Loach should have also taken out Barry. Are you guys following? No, it's not tank top guy. I'm going to show you again. Quickly. Hope it's all making sense though. There we go. I've got the pictures again. Loach. So 2 Davids and Ethan, I believe, are of the same fraternity, or were all at the Sigma Chi party. And this is all saying that Loach is the roid guy, and then they're accusing him of being, I don't know what, in some kind of relationship or making murder fantasies with the other David, 2 Davids. There's other ones I've seen of all kinds. Let me not go there. There's just all kinds, believe me. So I'm just reading it so you can, because I see this going around and people are just not figuring out exactly what they're saying. So I thought I could just like help decode it, right? Okay, so we're carrying on. So here they say, Dirty South Loach and E hated each other. Barry got a bid because our house GPA sucked and the NC was on our asses. Barry is schizo, Dirty South and E could not be more opposite. Mads did talk shit, Dirty also pissed she with Rogaine Jack. Had to charge, no plug, Mads also the target, Teddy's not a target at all, bad luck, well-known fact. High probability, some brothers are aware, Rogaine had ample opportunities and will play the grieving boyfriend. Barry actually talked about the shit in detail in the past. Wear electrician's gloves, put on baggy clothes after and walk away. By the way, Barry's dad works for a professional cleaning company.
Listen to that very carefully again.
Not be more opposite. Mads did talk shit. Dirty also pissed she with Rogaine Jack. Had to charge, no plug. Mads also the target. Teddy's not a target at all. Bad luck, well-known fact. High probability, some brothers are aware. Rogaine had ample opportunities and will play the grieving boyfriend. Barry actually talked about the shit in detail in the past. Wear electrician's gloves, put on baggy clothes after and walk away. By the way, Barry's dad works for a professional cleaning company. That shit was disposed of in Garden City over the Thanksgiving holiday. So this is the 4chan stuff that everybody's talking.
What do you guys think?
When I remember
Thoughts?
reading this, War Eagle. I mean, I've been on 4chan as a looker. I don't participate in the discussion, but this came out early on in December, or was it in November?
I have the screenshots. I don't remember exactly. Probably in November.
Mm-hmm. And it's a very, I mean, whoever wrote this sort of knew these people. I'm just thinking, I mean, it's a theory.
Right.
And when it came out,
Yep. But it sounds so sincere. I mean, it sounds like like someone that knows what was going on. That's what it sounds like to me. I don't
or
know.
think
That's just,
they
of
did,
course, it's just me.
Yeah, I think it's a hell of a theory,
Right.
and I do think that if anybody did this, it's like I go back to the same old is Mama Gonzalez. What's her name? Sorry, I forget her name. Steve Gonzalez's wife said that
right.
she feels in her heart that they knew who it was. It was somebody they knew. That was what she said in the beginning when they interviewed her. I think this
Yep.
was like in
Yep.
the first few interviews. And she's like, I feel that in my heart that it was somebody that the girls knew. And mother instinct, it's important.
I think so too.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So,
You can't dismiss it. You can't.
yeah. Yeah.
Why did she?
Yeah. Well, I think
You know what I mean?
pressure, husband, I mean, they were happy they caught someone, I think. I
Yeah.
I don't know as things are coming out how they feel about it. Really, we don't know. But
Right.
well, I mean, we
I
sort of know from the T-shirts. So I don't know.
I think for them, especially Steve, at this moment in time, it is just easier for him to believe they have the right guy
Mhm.
than for him to think that they don't. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
That could
because
be
if he
very well.
truly thought he didn't have the right guy, he would not be in a good place.
And who knows what is said behind closed doors? That you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They could be like that for the media, but behind closed doors, they're going, "This isn't right. This is fucked up." And
I
I
don't
wonder
know.
about that a lot. I wonder about
Yeah,
that a lot.
So
I don't get that vibe from him anymore.
Don't you? Yeah.
I just found the comments here on StreamYard. Hey, Ron John, jump up here. Come on, contribute.
Right?
And I'll just say this too about that 4chan post. I did go down all those rabbit holes with the with David Bearco, the two Davids, and who they're connected to, and all their friends. And I mean, they're connected to everybody. They're connected to Emma Bailey. Everybody I look
Right?
into is connected to Emma Bailey. She's always my number one that everybody comes back to every time. No matter who I look into, they all are connected to her. And that
Right.
sixth roommate that never moved in, those two are like the two peas in the pod that are kind of like connected to every spider web I go down.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's just so many people, and that's I think kind of and for the like I stated before earlier, how can the police in 2 weeks have a
Yeah.
have their suspect and that's it?
I have
They're
like
done.
35 people on my contact list, and Brian isn't one of them. It's crazy.
All right, I think so too. I don't.
I just see so many motivations from other people. You've got these kids that have passed from supposed, ODs and suicides,
Ron.
all this and that, just random, and I don't know. There's just a lot of weird stuff going on in that town.
Yeah, I know, and it's getting
You've got
weird.
the dirty cops, you've got the drugs,
Well, I blame the cops for that because they messed up the whole like how they distributed their information and how guarded they were, and then they jumped from like one thing to another, and they gave out false information, and they didn't know, like it was so like for them this was so new, they didn't know how to do that shit. Like if you watch other places like bigger cities and how the police lay out um these things, it's different. They know what they're doing, they know how to talk to the press, but these guys just didn't, and they were so flustered. And Fry was like he didn't, he was always like he looked like he was scared shitless, and he didn't want to say the wrong thing, and so their information was very guarded and very incorrect at times. So I blame them more than anything, like how they went about doing that. And of
Right.
course the rumors spread around, and it created like this whole conspiracy around all of everybody. So I really blame them. They should have been like, okay, more forthcoming, and they don't have to give away much more information, but they could have been a little bit more forthcoming with what they had.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it didn't help.
especially after they made an arrest. I mean, like, I get some of the secrecy while your suspect is out there, but once you make the arrest, like,
Mhm.
why not, why still have all the secrecy? I
I
don't
can
get
tell
that.
you. I can tell you
Please
that
do.
yeah, that gag order came about because they were protecting the integrity of the investigation, not the integrity of the court case. It was just about their investigation. They did not
Okay.
want to see, they did not want people to see how they came about, what they did, and so on. So that was just to protect their own asses. And that's exactly what
Right.
happened.
Well, if they did the investigation on the up and up with integrity, there shouldn't be that much to protect, right? I don't
Mhm.
get that.
No, no, no. They are protecting like what we're now learning, the three extra,
The
fingerprints and
DNA, yeah,
DNA and so there was
IPG,
a
how they
lot
got
of
to
shit going on. And how did you get to Brian Kohlberger? All that. They did not want to discuss that. They did not want
Nope.
to divulge it.
No.
And so they put a
that. They
gag
still
order
don't.
on it. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
Right.
that was, as I say, that was just to protect their own asses, really, honestly.
Do you ever watch Cluminati?
I don't know.
That's a
There's
good
so
one
many
to
channels.
watch too. She's got a good one out today. She kind of did a pretty good little deep dive about everything that you're saying right now, actually. And yeah, you look that one up, Cluminati.
Okay,
Yeah,
will do.
yeah, you know her too, huh, Steve? Yep. Yeah, I like her. Right, right, Sherlock. Yeah, yeah, she's got a pretty good one out today. Um, but
Yeah.
I think I'm going to call it a night here. And I don't know when I'm just letting you all know right now. I don't know when I'm going to be back on again because I do got another gig coming up on the 2nd, and it is Labor Day weekend. This place is going to be packed with my kids and grandkids, and it's going to be crazy. And I got a gig probably like 3 miles from here, and it's the biggest club in northern Minnesota, and I know my family's going to be coming, and it's just going to be kind of a crazy weekend. So, and um, I got to get prepared for new songs and all that kind of stuff. So,
Fun. Well, you
um,
jump on when you can.
yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I like, I got shut down by YouTube earlier. I ran a
Oh,
video by crime something, and it was about what I wanted to do was compare because everybody's trying to compare Bundy to Brian, and it's like there's not even a comparison. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
And so I dug up this video on Bundy, and and um, it wasn't done, and I got shut right down.
Oh God. Oh, and I'm just seeing Ron Johnson. Sorry, I just got set up. Oh, he was ready to jump on. Well, shit.
Oh, was he? Oh, bummer. Well, hey, we'll bring him up for right now. How about that, Ron? Go
Ron,
ahead
jump
and
on. I want to hear
go.
what you were talking about real
Yeah,
quick.
Yeah,
I'm gonna jump
jump
in.
on, Ron. Click on the deal. Do you want me to repost it here? Let me. Do.
I'm gonna jump down, y'all. Have a good night.
Bye, War Eagle.
Oh,
Bye.
okay. Bye, War Eagle. Hey, thanks for and email me. Email me,
Yeah,
girl.
I will.
Yeah, yeah. And thanks for the info. I appreciate it very much.
Hey, no problem. Anytime.
All right. You have a good evening.
Bye.
All right.
You as well.
There you are, Ron. How you doing there, brother?
Good. How are
Good.
you?
I'm good. I'm all good. I hear
Hey,
you
Ron.
nice and clear. That was some funny shit you were saying back there.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, I
I've
know.
been.
Sometimes. Go ahead.
I keep surfing all over the place looking for stuff, and then this comes out. I'm like, what is happening right now?
Right. War Eagle, I'll tell you what, man, she's got some shit, boy. She knows some shit, that girl. Yeah. Yeah, she kind of blew me away there. My jaw was on the floor too. Yeah.
So Ron, what was the biggest? Well, what's your take on this? What do you think about this?
Well, I think she cleared up a lot, especially with Jack, because I was like Tommy. I thought that looked suspicious.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot. There was a lot to take in here.
Mm-hmm. So you never really got the feeling that Jack was sort of protecting the girls by doing what he did?
I thought that, but then as I watch that video over and over again, and my
Mm-hmm.
mind just goes. When I
Oh.
see they walk away, he looks to his left, like, and I'm telling myself someone told him to get going, so he took off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was telling myself. But
Yeah.
what she said,
Yeah, that's what I
right, so-
thought too. Yeah. Yeah, that's what and that's it clicked for me right there too, Ron. And I was really suspect of I've been saying all along that I've had two jacks in my hand, right? One got minused out tonight.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
with you on that.
you're right. Yeah. Totally. The way he went like this, like, what the hell? Yeah, that all makes sense now. It all makes
Mhm.
sense. And him running off, and yeah, it all makes sense now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Now
just
we don't
drives
know.
me crazy that none of them kids have anything to say. I just don't understand it. How are people talking?
I know.
They're afraid to. I think like we saw one kid come forward. Like WSU mom Kim. Look how she's been treated, and then look at that now. They're talking about what's his name, Dave or whatever they called him, who came forward. I don't know if you've seen him, and he was sort of agreeing with what WSU Kim said, that there was Snapchats and they started like early in the morning, and he woke up at like he was going to go to work in the morning, and he woke up around 8:30, and there was like a bunch of Snapchat messages already about this, going around in the community. So, and then look where it got him. He went out there and he put himself out there, and then now everybody's like, well, that's misinformation and that's not true. And so that's what they do. Like it's not a safe space for them to come out and talk, really. So the
Yeah,
only
it's valid.
place they do is like you've seen a little bit of those interviews on Nightline or whatever it's called, those shows. That's where they feel safe, I guess, to come out and talk a little bit. But you usually just see the girls' friends, and you don't see any of the boys that was around them. So yeah, I don't think it's safe for them to, honestly, because how they
But
would get.
what are they scared of? There's only a couple things it could be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's only a couple of things, but those things are probably important to be
Yeah.
scared of,
Either somebody with a lot of money, that has a lot of power, or they're
Well,
just scared because they know who it is and they don't want it to happen to them.
yeah, and look at where we are, where it's sort of become politically incorrect not to agree with that Koberger did it. Like, can you
Right.
imagine? And I think I got that from Andrea Burkhart. She's in that when she goes to these um, all the courtroom sessions, and she sort of hints at it, that you cannot disagree with that point in there. And I think Rory says it all the time too. Everybody
Right.
there, they're not like, you can't even say that
Right.
Koberger didn't do it in
Well,
Moscow, or you'll get like, it's politically incorrect. So just
right. And
imagine you go out and you go on a YouTube show or something, and you talk about these things, how you're going to be treated in the community.
right. That's I was saying earlier. This, same thing.
Yeah. And I think there was a good, I watched that, what's his name, that clown guy who dresses up as a clown.
Oh yeah, crime
Drop.
circus. A
Yeah,
drip
yeah,
job.
Drip
Yeah,
job.
he's awesome.
And
Yeah,
and he compared it to the witch hunt, right?
right.
I
Yeah,
think he did it right. It wasn't harsh. I think it was drip drop, and I totally agree with him. This is like a witch hunt. It's like, you know, it's very reminiscent of that.
right, right. Well, it's like I was told when I first started out, if I ever went live or when I started making videos, never say Jack Decor's name. I was
Mm,
told that.
mm,
Don't say it.
even
But
though everybody did up until a certain point, the
right,
names
it's
were like
like you know,
dropped.
I was told the family would get mad at me and all this and that, but I went there anyway. I mean, no one's gonna,
Yeah.
shut me up. I'm just,
I mean,
and
personally, I don't like to name drop these kids and say any of them did anything wrong. That's the only thing. I think
right.
that's a little bit because we don't know. And I don't think that their immediate circle is what we're looking at. It's maybe a little bit outside of the immediate circle.
And you're probably right there.
Yeah,
But I like to look at everybody until like tonight.
of
Now,
course.
now tonight, somebody got dropped out of my,
Hmm.
jackass is out of there, and I find out that he's actually uh, was watching out for them,
Absolutely.
and so yeah, I'm willing to admit I was wrong and just move on from it.
Yeah.
Someone got dropped out of the circle, and I'll just keep going. But until Jack D gets dropped out, there's still one Jack in my hand. But geez, that's not a very good hand.
Yeah. Well, on
Well,
that one, I can only say one thing, and yes, you can play it so long, but he did show up at the parents' house, like, I don't know if it was the day after or something like that, and he
Right,
took off all his clothes. So I mean, you have to trust the parents on that end a little bit, that they're not stupid. I don't think, if you look at Steve, he's not stupid. That's probably the first thing they thought of. So I sort of think about that in the back of my head when people are talking about this poor kid, is that if the parents are content with what they saw and what he told them, I think in a way we should be too. That's just
yeah,
my take on it.
right. Yep, yep,
I
yep,
could be wrong. I don't know. So
yep.
could they could
I'm
be
gonna
wrong
keep him
too.
there a little while longer until I
Yeah.
find out a little more.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
I
We
think we
just
all have
don't
been
know.
wrong and right. Who knows? None of
Right,
us
we've been
know.
right and wrong. Right,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
It's an
mean, there's a
interesting
lot of
case.
cards to play. There is a million names that have been thrown out there, and people are looking into, and by all rights, because we sort of like, from what we know, it's hard to pin Brian Koberger to this. It's did he have anything to do with it? Possibly. I don't know. But what they got him on, and that's just some bullshit. So we know that that's a little bit beyond the realm of 8-9 minutes to do something like that by yourself. So so that's where I'm at with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm going to call it though.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get tired. So,
Nobby time for me too.
yep. I want to thank you, Golf, for being here, and
Well, thank
Ron.
you for having me. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Always
Thanks
a
for letting me up.
pleasure. Always
All
a
right.
pleasure. War Eagle, thank you very much. And to my subs out there, thank you very much. I love you all. Anybody that hasn't is not a sub, please subscribe and please like it. I'd like to get one's at 96. Get to the 100 mark on the likes would be great. But I want to thank everybody, and you guys all have a good evening. All right.
Night night.
Night,
See y'all.
everybody. Yep.